everyone, it's Sienna. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be explaining about the recycling system in Korea and how to throw out your trash. I've noticed that a lot of people that move to Korea have had a lot of trouble with throwing out the trash because you can't just put everything in one plastic bag and then throw it out. I know in other countries we used to have a garbage chute and we just throw it out, but in Korea it's a little bit more complicated than that, so I hope that you guys will find this video useful when you are first adjusting into the whole recycling system and throwing out the trash in Korea. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe to my channel for more Korean related videos or sit down videos, and I'm always open to suggestions. Without further ado, let's get into it. So Korea is known to have a very large population, especially all living in Seoul, and we have implemented a lot of recycling systems to help promote a sustainable lifestyle. Seoul is a very large city, and before the recycling system was implemented, a lot of the trash would just go to landfill or be incinerated. But this method of waste removal was really harmful to the environment, so the government decided to make a new policy when it comes to recycling. One solution for better management of the waste was implemented first in 1995, and it was to make the citizens pay for all the waste that they generate. One solution that they implemented was to have the citizens pay for specific plastic bags to help them throw out the trash. It has helped a lot in generating less waste, and it's just a part of our daily life habits. Even when we're home and we're constantly thinking about recycling, even if we go to an Airbnb, we always make sure to keep the recycling things separate. Some may say that it is actually a major perk of living in Korea because of all the environmental benefits. Now, all the things that are recyclable, they get sorted and are put into recycling plants, while food waste goes to fertilizers and different animal feeding. However, since then, there were a couple issues with the recycling system as well. The main one being that people weren't rinsing the recyclables properly. So if it had a little bit of food on the container, it wasn't able to be recycled. Ripping out the labels of plastic bottles was also a thing that people weren't really doing. So since then, a lot of brands have actually come out with different products to help our recycling system a bit easier. So there's 3 different categories that you can sort out your trash by. So you have food waste, which is 음식물 쓰레기, and you have to buy a different plastic bag for that. And then you have 일반 쓰레기, which is the non-recyclables and just regular trash. And then you have the recyclables. So these are the 2 plastic bags that you can buy. Every single region is different, and it's in different colors. There's also different sizes to this as well, depending on how big of a trash that you generate. You go to a convenience store, you can easily access them. You just ask for 쓰레기 봉투. All you have to do is buy one in a size that you prefer, and then you can buy it in bulk, so you don't have to keep making trips down to the convenience store. And once you fill this up, you just tie it and then you throw it away where the regular trash pile is. And this one is the food waste. You can ask for the 음식물 쓰레기 봉투, which translates to food garbage bag, and this one is 2 liters. So I like to keep this fairly small because you do attract a lot of bugs if you have it laying around. And what a lot of people do actually is that you just buy a little one, and then every time there's food waste, you put it in here and then you put it in the freezer so that you don't attract bugs and you can just keep it frozen. I thought that was kind of weird in the beginning when I saw my friends do that, but then now I do it and it's just a much better process. Keep in mind that if you go against these rules and you just throw it away in a regular plastic bag, you will get fined. It even says on the bag here that if you use a different plastic bag, you will get fined maximum $1,000. These were implemented initially so that people will reduce their amount of waste. I do become more mindful of that, especially with food as well. Whenever I'm eating, I try not to have any leftovers because I don't want to keep going down and buying these plastic bags. Even for the regular waste, I try always to sort through my trash and make sure that things can be recycled so that I don't have to continue buying these plastic bags. But one thing about buying these plastic bags is that you really need to be mindful that you need to buy the plastic bag that is in your district. For example, if I live in Gangnam, I can't use a plastic bag all the way from a different like Jongno-gu area. You can easily get them at like convenience stores or supermarkets. In some supermarkets, if you ask for a bag because you didn't bring your grocery bag, if you ask for a plastic bag, they will just give you like these bags so that it's much easier and more convenient for you to use later on. When you are first looking into an apartment for yourself, there are specific areas where you can go and throw out the trash. So make sure that you ask them about that as well, because for me, when I moved in, my previous apartment, our recycling system was just on the first floor, so it's really easy to get to, but I had the hardest time trying to find one here in this building because it was on the basement floor and I didn't know, so I had to call them and ask where to throw out the trash. Be mindful that there are specific days as well for some apartments where you are allowed to throw out the trash. For example, it's like on a certain day, a certain time, and you can only throw out the trash on that certain day when they are being collected. So if you are living in an apartment building that follows those policies, then you do need to keep all the trash in your house until it is time to throw it away. But for large items like furniture or mirrors, you do need to ask your building again because it might require a certain fee to throw out that trash. Okay, now I'm going to talk about how to properly throw out the garbage. I know it's a little bit complicated, but bear with me. So first, what you want to do is you want to empty anything that is in the product. Like if it's a snack like a potato chip bag, or if it's a container from delivery food, you want to always make sure that it's emptied out, and you want to rinse it so there's no like sauce or leftover food in there. And you want to remove all the labels from, especially water bottles, if you're using water bottles, plastic water bottles, because you need to recycle the plastic, but then the labels are separate, so you always need to make sure that they're separated. Always dry them as well. You don't want it soaking with water, and then you eventually want to flatten them as flat as they can be. I just get a huge random plastic bag, I put all my recyclables in there, and then we go down and I just sort through the trash on the spot, and that works perfectly fine as well. Let's go through each of the recyclables as well, because some of them can be kind of confusing, and I know that a lot of these places have CCTV, so they literally like track down anyone that threw their trash in the wrong spot, or there's usually a security guard like looking at you to see if you're throwing it away at the right spots, because if you don't do it right, then he's gonna do it. So sometimes I feel a lot of pressure as well, so it's always good to know the general rules. So let's begin with paper. With paper, the general rule of thumb is if it has a little bit of food in it, then it's automatically goes to regular waste and it can't be recycled. As for different cardboard boxes, I get a lot of delivery as well, so I always need to be mindful of that. So with cardboard boxes, especially if they're delivered, it will usually have like stickers on it where it says your name and the address. Just for privacy reasons, you always want to rip that up and then dispose of it properly. But even with like recyclables, you always need to take out all the labels on the cardboard boxes properly, and then you want to flatten them. And if you have a lot of cardboard boxes, just like stack them on top of each other and then throw it away instead of making it all messy. Let's move on to different cartons. This can be milk or toilet paper rolls or paper towel rolls. So just make sure that they're all clean and any stains or anything else that's not paper is properly removed. Now let's talk about plastic containers. So plastic can be drink containers, detergent. So the same method of emptying, rinsing, drying, and then disposing applies. But things like toothpaste bottles where there's like residue inside and you can't really clean all of it, just throw it away in the regular trash. And then we have vinyl. So vinyl is also another type of plastic. So things that are used as like a protective cover, like a label, saran wrap, or even plastic bag. But rubber gloves and mats and other things that are food stained cannot be recycled as well. So just keep in mind of that. But I think out of all my trash, I get the most vinyl because, you know, when you're buying something or when you are gifting something, it's always like wrapped in vinyl. Like I feel like a lot of the things that we buy, like with makeup related things, it's always covered and wrapped in vinyl, so I always generate a lot of vinyl trash. Next, we have the clear PET bottles. So petbyung is what we call just a clear plastic bottle, like a water bottle. This is usually a bit easier to recycle and it is made with a higher quality. These bottles can be made into clothes, shoes, bags, or even cotton balls. So it can be like this water bottle right here where everything is clean, and before they used to have like a label around it for the water bottle, but now, like I said, a lot of brands are making it easier for recycling, so they remove the label and they just have it like imprinted into the plastic. So this would qualify as just a PET bottle. So make sure that they are empty, that they are clean. But usually if it's just water, they're probably gonna be clean. Just dry them. And if you see any labels on it, then make sure you remove that label. Now you have the white styrofoam. So these are usually referring to a lot of bubble wraps or things that are used to protect the main product. So the same rule applies where you empty everything, you clean everything, you dry it, you remove any stickers, and then you recycle. Next, you have these glass bottles that you can recycle. Make sure though that the bottles are intact. Broken glass bottles cannot be recycled and you would have to wrap them up carefully and put it into regular waste. Next, you have any metal material like a Coke can, food cans, or nails and other type of metal. However, when it comes to butane cans that are specifically used for portable gas burners, you always need to make sure that they're empty first and you have to poke a hole before recycling. There are many other like little items that are not mentioned, but you can also put them in a separate area. Things like batteries that you can purchase at a convenience store, things like clothing and other type of fabric. Usually there is an area called hanotsugohan, and it translates into secondhand clothing collectibles. So you just need to bring all of your secondhand clothing and put that into there. Things like fruit netting, those type of products can be quite difficult. They can be recycled as plastic, but if you're ever feeling like not quite sure about it, then you just put it into the regular trash. When you walk around the streets of Korea, you might even see a lot of the different recycling bins. I'm going to insert a photo. So this one has paper and the other one says PET. So for PET, that is the plastic PET bottles that I mentioned earlier, so you can recycle the trash on your own there. There are also a lot of fines that are given to people that break the laws of throwing away the garbage. So if you are walking around and you are littering or throwing cigarette butts everywhere, you can get a minimum fine of 50,000 won, which comes to about 40 USD dollars. Now the main one that I see a lot is if you go to like Subways and there's trash cans there, a lot of people, for some reason, maybe they just don't want to pay, but they throw away trash in public trash cans, and that is a major fine of about 100,000 won, which comes to about 85 USD. They will go through the CCTV footage and they will capture you throwing away the trash and put it for the public to see. Hopefully you don't do that again. They usually say like, who are you? Like, do you not have any decency? Please don't throw away household trash into these public trash bin. So I know that some of the recycling system can be a bit confusing. It was really confusing for me as well when I first moved out on my own, just to get the hang of it, because every single building is different. I hope that you guys found this video very helpful, and I hope now that you have the resources that you may need to make your life in Korea a little bit easier, and I will be back with a sit-down video again very soon. Let me know if you have any more questions down in the comments below, or reach out to me on Instagram. It is at siennahong. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will be back with more videos very soon. Bye guys!